This pisses a lot of DJs off. Okay, turn it off. That's all we can afford. What's going on, you guys? Steve here. Let's play a game called Hate It or Love It. I've compiled a list of various topics that have DJs doing the Arthur Fist in comment sections. I figured we could determine if we hate them or love them and add a little context as we go. Let's do this. First one here is the CDJ 3000. Personally, I like the CDJ 3000. I saw a lot of DJs early on complaining about the placement of the hot cues. Before they even came out, people were scared they were gonna touch stuff on the touchscreen and screw up the songs, or they were gonna bump the platter. I think that was just an irrational fear. I've never seen that. I've never done that. I think that's just people complaining when you change stuff. That's just the natural human condition. I love the larger screen. I love that it's brighter, so if you have daytime gigs, you can see. I love the new mechanism for the platters. They have a faster CPU, so they load tracks faster. A lot of the bugs that were in the 2000s are gone. Overall, I think the 3000s were a great upgrade to the 2000s. I will say, I think the 2000s might have been built a little better. I don't have any actual proof to confirm this. This is definitely just my opinion. I understand why a lot of DJs within the festival space still prefer the Nexus 2s. From my experience, I've seen Nexus 2s that are always in better shape than 3000s. Maybe that's people just being rough on new equipment, but yeah, I don't know. In general, love them. DJing without headphones. This pisses a lot of DJs off. Here's a hot take. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I see DJs in comment sections saying, oh, if you're not DJing with headphones, you're faking it. It's pre-recorded. That's not true at all. I know the vinyl DJs watching this are gonna be really mad, but you can DJ without headphones in this day and age. I've played shows without headphones several times, mostly because I forgot my headphones at home, but it is possible. If you prep your music and line up your beat grids, all you have to do is line up the grids. You don't need to hear and see and check everything and smash the cue button. You can just line up the grids on screen. Do I advise that? No. But you can do it. There's people out there who will argue, oh, that's not DJing. Sure, if that's how you feel, that's fine. I'm just saying it can be done. Regardless of how you feel about it, you can do it. I've realized a lot of DJs don't believe that you can DJ without headphones because they just don't prep their songs and line up their beat grids. I prep every single song that I pass through Rekordbox, but I've realized a lot of DJs don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I think a good amount of DJs have funky transitions because they're not prepping their music and lining up their beat grids. That could just be my take, but whenever I see DJs fumbling their transitions, 99% of the time, they're not matching up their beat grids, they don't have their songs prepped, they don't have any cues, or they just don't know their music. But yeah, just knowing your tracks and lining up your beat grids, it is possible to DJ without headphones. Anyways, gear snobs, judging DJs on what they use. I'm going to say I hate this. Personally, I think that's really lame. I started DJing in the early 2000s. That was the peak of the CD era. I played on every type of gear. I'm a self-taught DJ. I learned on vinyl. I have poked around with playing with CDs. It's a little weird. I was an open format nightclub DJ for almost a decade playing with a laptop. I use virtual DJ, Serato, and now I play all original sets using Rekordbox. I've used a Mixtrack Pro, 1200s, SB3, RX2, RX3, CDJ 2000, Nexus 1, 2, CDJ 3000, CDJ 850. What else have I used? I don't look down on anything another DJ uses. What's in your budget, what you can afford, what you like to use is totally your choice. That's your preference. It's weird to me that there's always one DJ in the comments who's 60 years old who's like, oh, you should use vinyl. You're not a real DJ because you're not using vinyl. Back in my day. And it's bro, that's so lame. I know DJs who use vinyl in small hi-fi bars, and I also know DJs who use 3000s at really big Hollywood nightclubs, and I don't judge either one of them. I also have some friends who started DJing within the last year, and they use smaller controllers that are just plug and play with laptops. I don't judge them either. Everybody has a starting point. There's nothing wrong with what's in your budget and what you can afford. My first controller was a Mixtrack Pro. That thing cost me $80. I learned what I could, I got the basics down on that, and then I evolved. I moved up, and eventually I got to having my own CDJs. I don't think I'm better for having CDJs, and I don't think I was worse for what I started with. I think it's perfectly okay. Don't be a hating loser. Rekordbox 6. Rekordbox 6 is the Avengers Endgame of DJ software. Over the years, I've heard so many DJs complaining, oh, Rekordbox sucks, and it's unstable, and it's this and that, and there's so many bugs and issues. I've never had a problem with Rekordbox. In 2018, I made the cold turkey transition from DJing with a laptop using Serato to just full Rekordbox on CDJs, and I never looked back. I was very content with that change. The UI on Rekordbox 6 is amazing. I could get everything done quickly. I never had any bugs or issues. I think it ran perfectly fine. If that's not your experience, who am I to tell you otherwise? It really boils down to preference. Rekordbox 7, I hate it. Rekordbox 7 is the Captain Marvel of DJ software. I upgraded to Rekordbox 7 at the beginning of 2025. It took me a whole day just to import a couple tracks onto a USB. Almost every time I opened the application, it would crash. Rekordbox had a very uniform UI, just like CDJs. For the longest time, you knew where everything was. It never changed. But with Rekordbox 7, they said, we're gonna switch everything. There was a whole learning curve on how to do some pretty basic functions. A lot of the icons for certain functions changed. They flipped things to the other side of the screen. They added extra steps to get certain things done. It's not very intuitive. With Rekordbox 7, it seems like they changed a lot of things just for the sake of changing them. They've added patches here and there to Rekordbox 7, but I'm still using 6 until they get a full grip on this, or who knows, maybe 8 comes and completely fixes everything. It's gonna be Rekordbox 6.8 for me. Paid subscriptions for DJ software, I'm gonna say I hate it. Maybe there's people out there who like paying for subscriptions. That's kind of weird to me, why you would want to pay for certain things that I don't think you should have to pay for. You're spending money for access to a thing that you already have. I guess it's that I know too much already. If you had to pay for DJ software from the beginning, like all the way back to Scratch Live, Serato DJ, Rekordbox 1, 2, 3, cool, I understand it. It's the fact that just out the blue, they're like, you have to pay for this now every single month. It's like, wait, hold on, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Fortunately for me, I only use Rekordbox to export and prep my songs to use on CDJs. It's kind of lame that if you want to use the software with computers, you have to pay a monthly fee. If they were consistent with that from the very beginning, cool. I wouldn't know what I know now to say, hey, that doesn't seem fair. If that's always what it was, I wouldn't know any better. The fact that they threw a paywall up on these softwares after 10, 15 years of them being free, it just seems kind of crazy to me. But you guys let me know how you feel about it. Maybe there is a DJ who thinks there's benefits to paying for subscriptions. Snails for salt, I guess. Day parties and coffee shop pop-ups. I made a video breaking down why I think these coffee shop pop-ups are becoming so popular. Check that video out. In that video, I communicated that I love how DJing is expanding. It's moving beyond the nightclubs. I feel like nightclubs have become so cliquey when it comes to just booking their favorites and their homies that the rest of the DJs who've been left on the outside looking in have created their own things. Personally, I love that. When it comes to day parties, I think that's amazing too. I think society in general is pulling towards daytime activities. I think the pandemic is a big part of that. I think people became homebodies and a lot of people just don't want to be out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, which is cool. I think it's cool that there's options for people who don't want to be out till 4 in the morning. It's always a good thing when there's options in an industry. You never want things to be monopolized and controlled by one thing or one system. Beat sync, oh boy. This one might make some people mad, but I'm pretty neutral on this one, so I'm gonna say meh. There's a lot of DJs out there who think that beat sync is cheating. Essentially, beat sync is pressing a button to match your BPMs of both songs so they're the same speed. I don't feel that way. I don't use beat sync, I use the tempo slider, but I also don't think there's much of a difference. I don't understand how people think the tempo slider is fair game on CDJs and digital equipment, but the button is cheating, because in both scenarios you're looking at the screen to see, does this match? I feel the same way about this like I do with gear snobs. I think it's just old heads and people complaining for the sake of filling the silence. I think it's good to beat match by ear. I will say that. I think that's a good skill that all DJs should be capable of doing, but I don't think it's cheating. I think Jazzy Jeff said it best. He was quoted recently where he said, it's a feature that they've provided, you either use it or you don't. I don't think it's that serious. I definitely have a more firm stance when it comes to pre-recorded sets, but it's kind of crazy to me that most DJs don't really care about that. I think that's more problematic than pressing a button to match your BPMs. The thing about beat sync is it doesn't save you. You can press the sync button and still have horrible transitions. So I just don't get it. If you're a newer DJ who's trying to figure out the basics, by all means, use the sync button. It can also free up your hands so you can get into more technical things, playing with filters, playing with loops, juggling tracks. Sync does have its uses. If you fumble it and screw it up though, you can end up in a situation like Grimes at Coachella last year. Be aware of your tempos, learn how to beat match by ear, try not to rely on the gear so much because sometimes you can have technical issues, but yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Friendly DJs. I love it. I was born and raised in a small enclave outside of LA. Most of the DJs in my scene who were actively getting a lot of gigs were in their late 20s early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s. Now a lot of those guys are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they were not very welcoming at all. For the longest time, I was the youngest DJ in my scene, and I was the only person within my age bracket that was actively DJing. I got a lot of shade and hate from the other DJs in my scene. I'm sure some of the people watching this are gonna assume, oh, you must have said something, you must have did something to piss these people off, you must have rubbed them the wrong way. Not at all. From the second a lot of the older DJs in my scene found out I existed, it was just aggression. Half of them to this day, we've never spoken face to face. Some of them would send me nasty DMs. Others, I'd hear rumors in the street that they're talking crazy about me. Sometimes the bartenders and managers at the places where I play would tell me, hey, this other DJ came in and said that he would play for half of whatever you're charging. He just wants to replace you. Within my scene, it's very small. There's not much opportunity. So unfortunately, a good amount of the DJs have this crab in a barrel mentality where they just want to knock off the next DJ by any means. Community does not exist where I'm from. I think that's really unfortunate, but that's just how it is. For the longest time, I was super jaded and like just against working with other DJs. It's like, I don't know, I can't trust you. A lot of the DJs where I'm from, they just want to kick it with you so they can get some information and figure out who's booking things and who's running stuff so they can just snake you and take the gig from you. For the longest time, whenever DJs are like, oh, let's do a back-to-back and let's hang out, let me hang and play some tracks with you, and nah, bro, I don't trust you. I've been fortunate enough to get way bigger opportunities within the industry. I realize that's just like some small town mindset. Personally, I love this Gen Z wave of DJs. I think a lot of them are super chill. They don't have that crab in a barrel mentality. They don't get threatened by the existence of another DJ. A lot of them are super friendly and down to collaborate. They don't have any shady motives. They just want to work together. And I think that's amazing. That's how it should be, but from my experience working in a small town, it was never that. Anytime I got a gig somewhere, I was always hearing through an employee that some other DJ from the local radio station wants to come in and snake me, and I had people sending me screenshots of like their tweets talking crazy, oh, I'd be better than the DJ who was playing over here, referring to me. Why are you like this? It totally warped my outlook on DJs. For the longest time, I was isolated. I didn't care if you DJ'd. I didn't care if you wanted to make a song with me. I did not trust DJs. Now I see those people were just weirdos. That's not really how it is when you go out into the world. Maybe I got kind of long-winded on that one, but other DJs are not your enemy. It's okay that you're not the only DJ in the world. If you want to collaborate with people, you can. If you don't, that is also fine. To actively hate another DJ or try to trip others up is super lame. Exposure is pay. I hate it. Fortunately, I've never taken a gig like that. I can't even remember a specific bar or club that is offered just exposure. Like the gig is the money, the opportunity, the look. I would never take that. If you're a DJ, you should never take that because you're setting a nasty precedent. I know a DJ where I'm from where he was so desperate to just replace the next guy that he took a free gig like that. Cool, he got in, he's the guy. Everybody who comes to the spot thinks, oh, he's a cracking DJ and he's so popping because he's playing here. The whole time he's not getting paid. I'm hearing through the grapevine that the guy apparently hates it because he tried to negotiate pay after doing it for free, and they're looking at him like, what? Pay you? What are you talking about? Working for free, I imagine, is cool until it's not. I wouldn't recommend you do that. When it comes to working for exposure, do DJs really get a lot of exposure from local gigs? Like, I'm genuinely curious. If you're a DJ, comment below if you think working for free is genuinely beneficial. I don't think it is in any way, shape, or form. I think that's dumb. But you let me know. I played on Insomniac tours, I played local nightclubs, big Halloween gigs, New Year's Eve. At every gig, yeah, I'd get a solid flow of followers or like new people who discover my stuff because I'm getting tagged or promoted in the posts. I'm never getting like 10K followers from any one gig. Like, that's never happened to me. If something like that has happened to you somehow, you let me know. I've never had any one gig where I just blow up on TikTok because I got tagged in the flyer. But I don't think exposure as pay is as big of a deal as some of these promoters and talent buyers make it seem. I've never heard of a DJ blowing up from just some local nightclub gig, but if that happens, you let me know. Maybe if you get asked to play the main stage at Coachella or something for 30 minutes, and yeah, for sure, you're gonna blow up off something like that. But if it's just some local dive bar where they just want you to play 6 hours for free, you're just playing yourself. Novelty acts. Celebrities and influencers turn DJs. I'm gonna say meh. I don't love it by any means, but I don't hate it either. The reason why I don't love it is because I don't worship celebrities. The reason why I don't hate it is because I'd never actively tell someone who can or can't be a DJ. Just because you're a famous athlete doesn't mean that you're barred from ever trying anything else in life. You have the one thing that you're good at and you're famous for, you're not allowed to have any other passions or hobbies. I'll never say that to anybody. That being said, my issue is not the player, it's the game. I hate that the music industry, and a lot of industries for that matter, value being famous more than being competent and good. If people want to spend their hard-earned money in this economy, watching some celebrity or some reality star or some Instagram model faking some dubstep set, you can do that. Who am I to tell you no? I think that's an absolute waste of your time and money, but you can do that. My issue is that the music industry props up incompetent celebrities over experienced musicians. You can have 20, 30 years of experience as a musician, as a DJ, producer, artist, whatever, but if you're not verified on Instagram, nobody's gonna give you a shot. It's just always gonna be nuts to me. People will make excuses, oh, you need to be marketable and you need to promote things and you need to get sales. It's about ticket sales and this and rah, 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 rah. Cool. But I think we've lost the plot when we're actually barricading off musicians and just dumping in a bunch of celebrities who don't know what the heck they're doing. If some random pro athlete wants to become a DJ, great, do it, try it. But I don't think that you should be cutting the front of the line and everybody else gets told, no, you need to be as famous as this guy before you get a shot. What the heck does that have to do with anything? I can get super long-winded on this topic. It's gonna be meh for me. I don't hate celebrities coming into the space, but I just hate that everybody else gets pushed down at their expense. Speaking of which, booking musicians based on social media and not merit. I hate this. I understand that marketing matters and it's super important, but at what cost? Something I've noticed lately is that with local nightclubs, the DJ might have a good amount of followers and they'll be super lit on Instagram. The room is packed, there's a great turnout, but everybody in the room is just standing around like, man, this kind of sucks. It makes me think, okay, cool, you filled the room, but nobody's happy with this. They're not gonna come back next weekend. They came to give this a chance. It's not fun. You've kind of burned their trust because now they know, oh, they're just gonna book some people because they're lit on Instagram. It's not really a good time. Next weekend, I'm gonna go over to the spot across the street. I'd much rather spend my money driving 200 miles to a festival to see my favorite artist. With situations like that, I feel like a lot of local venues kind of burn the community because you're not giving them a good product or a good experience because you're focused on just filling the room with somebody who's famous. With my content and my existence in this space, I just want to tell people, hey, stop looking at the numbers. Who cares if somebody's verified or not? If they're trying and they're doing something dope, give them a chance, support it, play it, pull up to their events, see them live, go stream their songs, tell your friends about it. I think as a society, we've gotten too caught up in the numbers and who's verified and who's not and how many views you got for this and that. It doesn't matter. I believe if somebody is qualified and they rip it and they're being genuine, they're professional and they're chill, they should get a fair shot. It's just weird to me that we live in a time where merit doesn't really mean as much as it used to. You can be perfectly qualified as a musician, you can be very professional, very chill, more than capable, and you can still get told no because you're not verified on TikTok. It's just never gonna sit right with me that hardworking musicians will get snubbed over follower count, but somebody who isn't even a musician, they could like be a food reviewer on TikTok, but if they got 2 million followers, they're gonna get booked at a festival before that musician. People will probably argue in the comments about this and say, oh, it's because of this and that and da 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 da. I don't care. That's always going to be backwards to me. Could you imagine if the United States government operated like that? Imagine if we had people with no experience who were just known for being famous or known for being viral, that were in positions of power in our government. Could you imagine the peril and the chaos? Oh, when it comes to booking people based on social media rather than capability and experience, I'm always gonna hate that. In the example I gave, sure, some of these venues can be packed for one night out of the month because somebody super lit came to town, but the people might not be stoked on it. And then what are you gonna do the next day? What are you gonna do the next weekend? You're conditioning people to just show up to things because somebody's lit rather than being capable. And that's why I think it's so hard for these local clubs to stay full throughout the week. But I mean, what do I know? I'm just a talking head on the internet. I guess that's it for this one. I appreciate you guys being here, listening to me give my hot takes. I don't think these are hot takes, but I'm sure somebody's gonna argue with this. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.